including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out-of-home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, till the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, the Florida Panthers are the Oilers' Moby Dick, and it isn't going well. My goodness, how many times do we have to see the same game played over and over again? Exhausting, forecheck, Oilers get bamboozled, puck ends up in the net. Over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. I know people are going to complain about the effort. I think the game plan needs a reset. You know what, like they do with a computer? Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. We are live on YouTube and on Sports 1440 AM radio, online at sports1440.ca, iHeartRadio, Radio Player Canada, and after the show, Apple and Spotify podcasts, we are located. And we're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, J Fenwick04, and Mac McClellan. And text us anytime at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. We will have Steve Lansky at 1 o'clock today. And, of course, we have declinations at 12:40 today. First, though, before we get to the Oilers, Panthers, Chris Knobloch, and all of those good things, it's time for the introductions. She knows we are less than 1 week away from opening day baseball, and I bet she knows how to throw a curveball and maybe even a circle change. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mackenzie McLennan. Mackenzie McLennan, everybody.
I'm glad you think so highly of me, because I definitely couldn't. But my most toxic trait is when I watch the Edmonton Collegiate Baseball team.
Right.
I sit there and I'm like, I could do that. I could get out there with them. But I know reality.
Do you have a good hand-eye coordination? That's all baseball is.
No.
Okay,
no,
well then.
Not at all.
I thought you were going to brag a little, and I gave you every opportunity, but you didn't go there.
I got to be honest.
Now, your guy is a baseball guy, though, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't show you how to, how to hold the ball to throw a curve or a slider?
Trust me, we've spent many afternoons doing that, and he's just like, you're kind of hopeless. Because anytime he teaches me something, I immediately forget it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But it's not important to you, and that's okay. It's life, the way life works. He is reportedly one of the best dungeon masters west of the Pecos and loves to role play in D&D. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
I'm one of the best dungeon masters where?
West of the Pecos. Haven't you ever watched a Western like a John Wayne?
Yeah, probably. I just, normally it's this side of the Mississippi.
No,
whatever,
but
right?
the Walter Brennan, I'm sure, has said, there's the toughest gun on this side of the Pecos.
Yeah, definitely, though. We're on the – is California on the same side of the Pecos?
I have no idea where the Pecos is.
Okay, so I imagine they are, and I definitely can't compete with those guys over there. So,
but having said that, are you going to do D&D on Sunday?
that is a wonderful question. I think I am double dipping it.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
I'm doing it twice.
Chewing tobacco.
Same day.
Okay, all right. So there's going to be an all-day affair. How long does a D&D game take?
That's a wonderful question. On a grander scale from 10,000 feet up, years.
Oh, so you play
Per
the
day,
same game?
it's about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my God, so you're going to have 10 hours of D&D. So it's the new NFL football for you.
Oh, hey, I was doing this during NFL football. I just had screens on the football so I could watch.
So you're the one male on planet Earth who can multitask?
No. I never said I did it well. I just said it was up there.
That's fair. That's fair. We all agree he will be famous or infamous, but cannot agree on which of his amazing skills will make him well known eventually. I'm going with a remake of the song Hurricane, going number one. There'll be a little rap. There's a little talking scene in the middle of it. It'll go number one on the top 40 charts because he's that good. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
Like Hurricane by Dylan.
Yes.
I love that song.
I know.
Absolute classic. Great show. But here's the thing, I guess. Maybe that's one of those songs you can't remake it.
Oh, I think you can. You could sing it well. I mean, Bob Dylan's a great lyricist, but he never met a song he could sing.
It's not just, well, that's a fair point. It's not just one of those ones that's like too classic you don't want to touch, like Back to the Future.
And here's why, Declan.
Hey Jude or something.
You would be introducing it to a whole new generation who don't know the song or the story behind Hurricane.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because it was about a boxer, which I'm sure most people know, but if they didn't, now they do. Which is another little kind of personal area of interest.
Unless
for me.
you told Josh, I bet he did not know that.
Really?
I did not.
No. It's pretty obscure, buddy.
All right. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give my take, and then we can go around the room, whatever you want to do about the Oilers game last night. Look, the Edmonton Oilers are fundamentally flawed because they cannot change the way they do things. This is a team that has not played well against Florida for, almost 3 years now. Florida does a very predictable forecheck. There's a lot of pressure, and the defensemen are under duress, and the forwards still gap the way they used to gap. They still haven't changed, and probably even as frustrating. On the jailbreaks, everybody goes hell-bent for leather for the Oilers, and then when the puck turns over, inevitably, there's not enough players back. And it's like Calgary used to do this to the Oilers all the time. Who was the coach of the Calgary Flames in the early aughts? Quebecois fellow.
Oh, Quebecois, because I know Stutter was there for a while.
Maybe it was before then.
It must have been before him.
Yeah.
Was Claude Julien ever the coach?
No. Can't remember his name.
Give me a second. I'll Google it.
Anyway, he used to do, they were not a great team when he was there. And they would always get the Oilers on this, where it's the counter after the 3 or 4 shots by Edmonton. Nobody would be back, and there'd be a breakaway the other way. Oops, there's a goal for Calgary. And the Oilers, they simply cannot have the discipline to have enough people in position. I wrote on the blog today, Craig McTavish was an expert at this. At 5-on-5, all he would do is he would not play anybody who was not sound in their two-way game. Everybody had a position, and they were somewhat in that position. And the Oilers, it's so. Remember in Detroit in 2006? I know only old people will remember this, but McTavish in a few days, he changed the way they played defense. They clogged up the middle. They played a style that was not wildly popular, but they won the series and went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Now, if I were to tell you the Oilers could play freewheeling hockey for the first 3 rounds, and then when they played Florida or another team, they were going to have to play a shutdown, tight defensive style, you'd buy into that. You'd say, hell, sign me up, puppy. No problem. Oilers won't do it. They won't do it. They won't do it. They will not do it. They refuse to do it. They're never going to do it. And because of that, I don't think we can say with authority they're ever going to win a Stanley Cup in the Connor McDavid era, because they refuse to play a disciplined game and a structured game. And the forwards don't come back and offer opportunities for the defensemen to make those adept, smaller passes that they did in 05-06. If you've got the games, watch the tape. There were small little passes. They even did it in the neutral zone. Radek Dvorak was great at it. The center would get the puck and very quickly send it to an area, and Dvorak would be flying through. And the result was either he had a semi-breakaway, got tripped, or at the very least gained the zone under control. It can be done. The Oilers aren't trying. They simply will not adjust. And that makes them so easy to play against. And the Florida Panthers are textbook, baby. They taught the entire National Hockey League how to play against the Edmonton Oilers. And by God, they're doing it. How many players on that Florida team are not familiar with the Edmonton Oilers? But they play the style. They played it brilliantly. Give them credit. The Edmonton Oilers are stubborn mules as either a coaching staff or a hockey team. And I'm reminded by Connor McDavid's quote last year saying, trying to do the same thing over and over again. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Anyway, who wants to speak next?
Well, I guess I'll go. Listen, there's nothing really I can say that hasn't been said by you or hasn't been thought of by everybody else. But I think it's just kind of said, like, I actually think they came out and played with a little bit more effort than people gave them credit for initially. Chris made the point that he said he thought the effort was there, but they didn't find the net. Like, I don't think the effort was there for a full 60. I think they dipped really quickly and kind of ate themselves up in that regard. He was obviously right about them not being able to find the net. Bob stood on his head a little bit, made some nice saves. It's just like, this is the one game. This is the one team you want to come out and you want to play with some emotion and you want to set the tone and you want to go out and say, hey, you took everything from us. We want to hit you in the mouth and we want to prove that right now, today, we are going to be the better team. And there was none of that from the Edmonton Oilers. And like I said, I did feel like the effort was a little bit higher than most people are giving them credit for the first 10 or so, but it dipped very, very quickly. And then it was just this age-old thing with this team of kind of like, they get into a hole and they just can't get out of it, and they get into a rut and they've dug themselves into and they can't get out of it. And it's just so demoralizing, like to know this is not a playoff team, to know that they're really playing for nothing right now, that you're a team that's still trying to make the playoffs. This is a team that took everything from this core for the last 2 years, and you go out there and you get absolutely blanked like this. It's such a tough spot to be in. I mean, it's not about one game. Darnell Nurse kind of made this point in his post-game media avail. It's not about one game. Obviously, you want to win this one, but for this group, it's about the playoffs. It's the playoff race. It's another opportunity on Saturday against a really tough Tampa team that you got to look forward to. But it just sucks. It just really, really sucks when this is a team that took everything from you. You would think, listen, we're going to go out there. We're going to hit them in the mouth. We're going to go out there. We're going to show a little bit of something. We're going to show a little bit of heart, and they don't have it for like 50 of the 60 minutes. It's a tough spot to be in.
Josh.
Audible. Omaha.
Right.
It's Mackenzie.
I'll go. Yeah, I think the first 10 minutes, they did show like a lot of drive. The first like 5 shots were great looks for that first line. Savoy was right in it. But then it completely dropped off, and I was really frustrated that Florida was throwing around the body and they have that unreal forecheck, and like you guys said, McDavid, like banging your head against the wall. You're doing the same thing over and over, and it never works. So it's really hard to watch that because we've seen it in the last 2 finals and then again in the regular season when Florida really doesn't have much to play for. And also, I thought Ekholm was really the only one that brought a whole lot of physicality to his game, and it didn't really come until like the end of the second, like that halfway mark kind of. And it was just frustrating because they beat the Oilers for fun. They truly do.
That's a great way of putting it. I agree with that.
Yeah, just one thing before that. Are you thinking you can't be thinking about Greg Gilbert for the
No, it wasn't Gilbert. I'll get the name. You keep talking.
What about it's not Page because Pierre
Page? No, it's not him either.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about then.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, the Panthers, they own the Edmonton Oilers. That's what it is. It's the simplest way of putting it. For the last 3 years, they've come into your building, you've gone to theirs, and they just are play harder against the Oilers than the Oilers try to play against the Panthers. It seems like that every time. And like Bob is having a terrible season. He got a shutout last night. Like this is, again, it's been touched on a lot. This team has nothing to play for. Like they're not in the playoffs. They're out of it. And they played harder than a team that is hunting for the playoffs, that still has cup aspirations this year, so on and so forth. And it's just like, how do you not wake up for that game? I know they had 28 hits in the game or something like that, but like the first 2 periods, how are you not just going absolutely balls to the wall, trying to like beat the absolute wheels off of this franchise that has frankly embarrassed you the last 2 Stanley Cup finals?
Well, they don't adjust. The Oilers are a stubborn team. They don't adjust, and because of that, they're easy to play against. The next game they'll play, there'll be 2 forwards in trying to suppress good passes. The forwards will refuse to gap properly. Finally, the one forward will come down and they'll make a quick pass, but everybody will see it and it'll get turned over in the neutral zone. This is simply not acceptable. And you know, the Oilers have gone through a little bit of a tweak in terms of the coaching, but I don't know how you can return with this coaching staff next year, because this is figure outable. Now, I'm a guy who types on a typewriter. I can't tell you what they can do, but I know that other teams try to suppress offense this way, and there are ways to get around it. And what I think they need to do is do shorter passes, not just in the neutral zone or in the defensive zone, but also through the neutral zone. And you want to get one-on-one matchups, because what they're doing is, yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. What they're doing is they're taking one particular player and they're isolating.
Oh my God!
They're isolating the player. I think that's a tie now, right? So they're isolating the defenseman who has the puck. And when that player is isolated and can't find anybody, he's got to either do the Chris Russell thing or he's got to eat it along the wall. And the bottom line is the Oilers know this, and they say they're preparing for it, and they really don't. And the problem with it is the Oilers in 3 years haven't adjusted. And so if they simply did what McTavish did against the Detroit Red Wings in 2006, where he changed the style for like a week and a half, and then they went back to playing against San Jose and Anaheim and then eventually Carolina, and they found their way. And they almost won the Stanley that year. I don't think the Oilers coaching staff has the ability to figure out how to break this thing, or there's another possibility. Maybe the players at the high end aren't willing to play it. I don't believe that. I believe that Connor McDavid would do anything to win Stanley Cup. And so for me, this is a crossroads. You had a chance last night. You haven't made the playoffs. You've got a Florida Panthers team that is not going to make the playoffs. You have a fan base that wants so badly they are cheering for you, man. They want so badly for you to dominate a Florida Panthers team and at some point slay the dragon. And it didn't happen. And people are talking about they didn't play hard. I think they did. I just don't think they played smart, and I don't think the game plan was anything close to what it could have been. And that, honestly, is disappointing. I think that Coach Knobloch should have a cup of coffee with Craig McTavish and talk about what he did in 2006 and try to find a modern version of it, because coaching tactics change, but a modern way of overcoming a problem. Florida doesn't win every game. For damn sure this year, they don't win every game. So what is it? How do you come around to being able to do that? I think you use the speed you have. You move the puck in the middle of the ice, quick passes, not long passes, quick, short passes, and make it happen. And they have to do it, but I don't know if this coaching staff is going to get it done. By the way, the name of the coach was Bob Hartley. I said Quebecois. He's from Hawkesbury, Ontario. So I was wrong, but Hartley his team was so good at counter trays. They'd give up like great chances and then back the other way. The Oilers weren't disciplined enough that it'd be a 2-on-1 or a breakaway. Happened all the time. That's what Florida does. They put so much pressure on the Edmonton Oilers that when the Oilers finally have an opportunity, everybody goes to the wall to make it happen. And if it doesn't go in the net, it often rims around, goes the other way. And as we saw last night, it's a goal for the Florida Panthers. It's such an evil way to lose a hockey game because everybody is trying hard. Everybody is playing hard. They're just not playing smart. All right, Steve Lansky is coming up at 1 o'clock today. We have Declinations on the way at 12:40. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Oil Kings hockey takes to the ice at Rogers Place for the final regular season game this Sunday.
It's the Team Awards game. See who scores the hardware pregame for Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, MVP, and more.
With all the family fun Sunday face painting, bouncy castles, and Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Plus a post-game autograph session.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Calgary Hitmen. Team Awards game, 4 p.m. Sunday.
The final home game this season at Rogers Place before playoff action kicks off, starting at $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters. With record investments in healthcare and education and a plan to keep our economy strong. This means better access to doctors and nurses, plus 50,000 more surgeries over 3 years. It also means hiring more teachers and building or renovating more than 160 schools, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. Budget 2026, focused on what matters. Visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Off of the gram.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. It's some kind of weather out there today. There's a lot of standing water on some of the roads, so be careful if you're out there driving. It's spring, and there's a little bit of a runoff in the city. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick at 1221. It is time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Now, during the last segment, as we were talking about the Oilers, young Josh had an amazing reaction. I saw it in live real time in front of me, and it was athletic in and of itself, the reaction to a three-pointer that got Santa Clara in a tie with Kentucky. So, Josh, tell me about that play.
So I apologize.
Oh,
That's
no.
also
Don't worry
probably
about
the most athletic thing I've done in a couple of years. Yeah, so Santa Clara had hit a 3 to go up by 3 on Kentucky.
Which you semi-reacted
Which
to
I
also,
semi-reacted to because I do have Santa Clara winning in, I think, 2 of my brackets.
Oh,
so that
this is about the bracket. Of course you react.
But also, like, I'm appreciating some good hoops here because now they're just trading shots. So with about 3 seconds left on the clock, Kentucky brings in the ball, runs it up to half court, and I don't know who shot it, but basically from half, he throws his body and ball at the hoop, and he banks it in to make the three-pointer and send this game to overtime, which was 73-73. It's now 79-79 with a minute and a half to go. Kentucky's got the ball. It's March. It's absolute madness. This is super fun.
That play is what you think of when you think of the tournament. What we just saw 2-3 minutes ago.
Right. Like that Leitner play, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just like, how did that go in? I can't believe he shot that. Have you ever shot that shot? Why would you take that shot? Well, someone's got to take it.
So here's my question for whoever wants to answer it. Because like I watched college basketball. I got hooked on it because I watched Shaq play for LSU when I had ESPN. And I got because it's a game of mistakes in the college game, not so much in the pro game, but in the college game is a game of mistake, and that makes it more exciting. So even though I'm not a balls out basketball fan like you guys, college basketball fan, I do love the tournament, and the tournament is great because it's so shocking. And so I'm going to ask you this question: even though you might be fans of other sports, college football, hockey, whatever, is this like the most exciting? The first 2 days of the March Madness, is it like the most exciting sporting event all year?
Well, for me, I will say, yeah, like one that is held annually. The first 2 days, really, even you could stretch it to the first 4 days of March Madness, are the days I look forward to like no other. Like we've kind of joked about it off air. We've joked about it on air a little bit. Like, I can't believe I'm at work right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I really also believe, not to get too corny or anything like that for a second, but I really do believe life is about finding the small moments of things that bring you joy, that make worth
Amen.
life living, and making the most out of them. And so this tournament for me is that. But now to stretch it out to a bit larger of a degree, I think the World Cup is the best tournament in sports. Obviously, that's every 4 years. This one being annually, yes, to answer your question.
Can I just say one really unpopular thing that you won't agree with?
Okay.
I prefer the Euro.
Yeah, some people have that take because of the rivalry aspect of it. And I can understand that. But I just think like the World Cup like that, you're getting the best of the world as opposed to the best of maybe the second best continent, maybe the best continent. But I hear where you're coming from.
Mackenzie or Josh, what do you think this is the best like 2 days in sports?
I'll go first. If you're just going like 2 days, then I would say probably yes. But like
it has to be, man.
I think so. But like to the question you asked, Declan, for me personally, it's the back nine on Sunday at Augusta.
Oh, well, they're pretty good. Yeah. And what about you, Mackenzie?
Okay. Like this 2 days is pretty awesome, but also the wild card games in the MLB, like the first couple days of playoffs, are unreal because you get to watch baseball during the day, which I love.
And nobody's working, right?
Yeah.
Even if they're at work.
And like opening day is pretty fun too.
Yeah, it is.
But like for me, I have to say like first weekend of playoffs for the NHL because
it is wild.
Like that first series is always wild for everybody.
And it feels like upsets happen on the regular, right?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, the Oilers lines are out. This is via Bob McDavid with Savoy and Hyman, Nuge with Podkolzin and Kapanen, Dickinson with Jones and Roslovic, Henrique with Szymanski and Yarvante, and Lazar the extra. You know, they had those lines the other night, and they were great, and then we didn't see them again. Oh, my God. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse Murphy, Wallman, Stastny, and Ingram in the starters. That doesn't mean anything today, but that's what they're going with right now. Nothing really that I'm seeing in the NHL today that's worth, trumpeting or talking about in a big way. We do have an NFL note. The Bengals are eyeing extensions for quarterbacks DJ Turner and Dax Hill. They say the reason they're doing it is because even though they're great football players and they really want them, the key was they didn't do anything to help Joe Burrow and protect him. So they were willing to go long-term with them. I think that's the way the Bengals like to do it, right? No protection for Burrow and fill all the other spots.
Did you say these were cornerbacks or they're guards?
It says cornerbacks.
Cornerbacks, great. Okay, so
I'm teasing you. I'm saying they're doing everything but helping your quarterback.
Yeah, so I mean, they're sort of helping in a way. They're making it so that he doesn't have to score every time he comes down the field, which is ideal. I mean, they've gotten a lot of defensive players through the free agency period, which I was very happy with. Oh my God. Santa Clara only down 3 now.
But now they got a foul, right?
They got a foul and hope that Kentucky misses both their free throws. But they really, they extended Orlando Brown Jr. Good. That's a good O-lineman. However, you have 4 absolutely bunzo linemen otherwise, so you need to find new guys. And I swear, if we walk out of that first round with someone that is not playing right tackle, center, left guard, or right guard, I will crash out very violently.
Well,
Lowetide, I wouldn't mind taking it back to something you talked about at the end of last segment with Chris Knobloch, since this is, if you would allow me.
Sure. No, this is not an open segment, but it's rumors, so let's talk about it.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because it is kind of rumor adjacent, if you will. I think there had been a lot of people, whether it be social media, the text line, maybe just people's personal feelings about the team, who had kind of been putting Chris Knobloch on the hot seat. And I think, generally speaking, we hadn't necessarily agreed with that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I don't think he's going to get fired, if that's what you mean.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
But no, I don't either. But I do think for the first time, I feel like his seat is legitimately warm.
Because they're not adjusting, and that's a coaching thing.
I also think he coaches very nervously. He coaches like he doesn't want to make mistakes. He coaches very tight. Obviously, right now, he doesn't have the nuclear option of McDavid and Draisaitl 5-on-5, but he's so quick to go with that. And I don't think he's exactly innovative. Not that you necessarily want to be innovative when you've gotten your team to the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row. I'm not saying he has to go rewrite an entire, offensive zone. So, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he seems to coach with a little bit of nervousness, and that mixed with the results and mixed with McDavid's comments after the Stanley Cup Finals last year, I think that all kind of couples together, and you would maybe say, yes, the seat is warm.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think that there's 2 things. Number one, people have a tendency to respond to how a person looks, and I know the press conference last night,
bad optics.
Well, I mean, there's a time, I think, to throw the team under the bus. Maybe it wasn't that last night, but I think you also have to handle it in a little different way. Just my opinion. Knobloch, he looks like a little bit of a nervous person. That you can't help how you look, Don Knotts would not have made a great NHL coach in terms of confidence when the puck goes in and looking at the monitor. But having said that, the Oilers have signed him to a contract last fall, to a deal that will, begin this fall. So I don't think he's going anywhere, but I think they're going to get him a lot of help. And I would not be surprised. This is as far as I'll go. I would not be surprised if the new coaching staff that Chris Knobloch has this coming fall has his successor on it.
Well, my other thing is don't you feel it's almost a bit of an indictment that he was finally able to pick his coaching staff for the first time this year, and then these have been the results? It had to result in them saying, actually, Coffey's going to get back behind the bench, a position he probably didn't even want to be in himself. Those aren't great optics either.
I got to handle this because I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. But I think that Knobloch, he got them to the final, 2 years in a row. They said, choose your staff, and he did. And then I think I have no information. Nobody said word one to me. I do not have anything to do with the Edmonton Oilers, and that's a fact. I just think the owner got upset before the Olympic break. There was no talk of bringing Paul Coffey back, and then there was no talk of these guys are under a lot of pressure, and then all of a sudden there was. And I've watched this team for a long time, and I would bet you all of Declan's future earnings that Daryl Cates...
That's going to be a lot.
Yes, that Daryl Cates said, look, they got to get Coffey in there. I don't like what's happening. And at that point in time, in my opinion, at that point in time, the die was cast. And that means that Knobloch eventually will be replaced. I don't think it'll be this summer. Maybe I'm wrong. But once an owner does that, he had less than a year to have his own way with the team. And there was so much upset and turmoil that I believe, these are all my opinions, I believe the owner said, we got to get Koff behind the bench. So I would suggest this summer, Paul Coffey probably moves into more of a strengthened management. It's not going to be like this is the advisor to the owner. There's going to be some kind of a attachment to his description in terms of being a manager. And I think once that happens, then the die is cast for everybody on this team who is in a management or coaching position. But I don't know when it'll happen.
Okay. 2 things like really, really quick. Back to Declan's with Knobloch not calling out the team. If Knobloch were to call out the team every time they had a bad loss, they would be getting called out every week.
And then it doesn't work, right?
That's fine.
But it doesn't work if you do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like when you have kids. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. And also with Knobloch choosing his own coaching staff, it's kind of similar to Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, because when he got brought on, he didn't choose his own coaching staff. They go to the Super Bowl. And then he's allowed to choose his own coaching staff. They lose in the first round.
Yeah.
Then they're like, all right, no, we're choosing your coaching staff. They win the Super Bowl. So, I mean,
well, I got to really push back on the first point. I don't know where you guys come out on this. Mackenzie, I guess maybe I do. But if you're worried about the coach calling them out too often because it hurts their feelings or defeats team morale or something, I think that your job as the coach, if they're not playing well, you have to put them on notice. This isn't U15 tier 2. We're in the NHL and we're in a Stanley Cup window. There has to be some accountability. It has to be brought to the forefront by the head coach.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How often it is.
I agree. Well, I do. And here's why. There are elements of what a coach can do. You can bench a player. It's happened. Bouchard got benched this year. Ekholm had his time taken away a little bit. Benching players is effective. They don't like not playing. And when you do go to the media and you say, this is, I just think if you can do it as many times as you want, but I don't think it has the same impact. Craig McTavish, I wish I had saved the interview or the media avail. He's such a smart guy. When he left, everybody, I think it still says that the Oilers fired him. I don't think that at all. I think he just decided it was time to go. And at his press conference, he said, when I started here, everybody listened to me. And then after a while, some of the older players stopped listening to me, but all the young players did. And he said, and then when you spend too long at the fair, he didn't say at the fair, but you spend too long doing it, then after a while, even the younger players don't listen. And I don't know how many people in that room listen to Chris Knobloch. And I have always wondered about the McDavid comment last year after the final. And maybe Daryl Cates is responding to that. I don't know. But the coach has to, in my opinion, he has to use the calling out of the players in the media less often than most coaches do, simply because if you do it all the time, then it has absolutely no value. If you want to send a message to a player, just don't play them.
Yeah, because we've seen it happen in Toronto this year with Craig Berube. He called out team players 5 times this year, what I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah. Obviously, there was a lot going on with the Leafs, but you can see on the bench, they've completely tuned him out. He'll be trying to get them fired up or whatever, and they all just, you can tell, it's in one ear, out the other.
Yeah, it's sad, actually, because it means everybody knows they've failed.
Yeah.
And there's guys playing on that team that will be in Europe next year. It's a sad time.
Yeah.
I remember Ethan Morrow when he was playing, and the Oilers were long past the Stanley Cup final. And I think he got traded that deadline or the summertime or bought. I can't remember all the details, but he had taken 5 penalties in 5 straight games. And then he did it again. And then in the post game, they said, taking a lot of penalties, you're, out there, you're a veteran who usually kills penalties. You're taking the penalties. He said, well, these young guys got to learn how to kill penalties. I'm just helping them out, which is really funny. But when a veteran is playing the game you're not counting on him to play, and you're a veteran in a lost season, I think it's really difficult for those players because they know their NHL careers are winding down and their chance to win a championship, at least this particular year, is non-existent. They're just not going to make the playoffs. All right, 12:37 on the way. Declinations, what is our subject matter today, sir?
Yeah, so a little bit different today, actually. This is something I've kind of wanted to do for some time because, bluntly, I kind of feel bad when it's just me and Josh. No, don't shake your head, Josh. So this is like, don't tell me what I'm thinking. This guy's over here smirking and laughing and stuff. Because I feel kind of bad when me and Josh go through our list and Mackenzie's just sitting there. She says she doesn't mind. But my point being is that it kind of couples perfectly with March Madness. Today, Josh and Mackenzie are going to be giving a top 5 of something. I don't know what it is, and I'm going to react to it.
So he's raising his Spockian eyebrow. So somebody's in trouble. That's all I'm saying. Do you want to give us a hint?
You guys want to give us a hint?
Sure. It is not sports related.
Oh, God. Okay.
Terrible day for that, but all right.
It's all on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Select the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, McCarr, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Fountain Tire. The savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
This is your moment to come on down and play for your chance to win over $300,000 in prizes. That's not all. Buy more, save more on select major appliances. Up to $1,000 off. Save up to 40% on select mattresses and up to 25% on furniture. Plus, this Saturday, play for up to $1,000 off your purchase. Everyone who plays is a winner. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately with no overtime rates, if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
You started wearing it to guys' night. Nice toque, you hoser. Then you started wearing it to work.
Nice toque, you hipster.
But the truth is, you're not a hoser or a hipster. You're just trying to hide your hair loss. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and for over 2 decades, I've used the latest techniques to help thousands save their hair, including my own. Come see me today to explore your options. By the time it warms up enough to take off the toque, you could have a head of hair you won't want to hide. Go to drvanceelliott.com today.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Friday edition. Weekend just around the corner. And it's time for Declinations, brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions. The clear road to a new life. There's a better way. Fairwaydivorce.com. And this is Declinations. But Declan, I think in consultation with one or more of the individuals involved, has suggested, and we are going to go with a back and forth between Josh and Mackenzie, and we are not sure of the subject matter. And I got to say, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, as you should be. No, not really. Declan texted us at about 10:40 today, maybe 10:30, and said, "You guys do declinations today."
He probably had an oatmeal incident.
So my initial response was, "All right, sounds good." And then you really just like want to focus on March Madness, huh? No response. Mackenzie sent in the saluting emoji, and I was like, "All right, now we got to figure out what we're gonna do."
Well, first of all, I was recording Elks Central for Elks Nation, so get that right.
Who'd you have on today again?
Silas Hubert. Good conversation.
In studio, or was that on?
No, through StreamYard, but great conversation nonetheless.
Very good. So I went over to Mackenzie. I said, "What do you want to do for today's declinations?" Because I really don't know.
Right.
She said, "Well, all those movies are coming back to IMAX in Edmonton."
Whoa. Hold on. Because Declan was like, bad day for it to not be a sports one. I did say, should we do one March Madness related?
Oh, and I said no.
Yeah.
So you are actually the driver.
I said there's going to be we've talked a lot of March Madness here. Maybe we pump the brakes a little bit here. Also, the Oilers lost, so maybe people want to take their minds off that.
Sure. So it's desserts?
No.
Oh.
So we're talking about the 5 movies that we'd most like to see.
Oh, right.
Returning into Edmonton IMAX. Going down. Just our top 5.
The one at Easter Island with the crabs, that was amazing. Don't remember the name of it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
They come to this island and
the movie Hop.
No,
where they live on Easter Island, and it's
they all come in and then they all go out, and some of them die. It's very sad, but some music.
Are you talking about King Kong?
No.
Okay, because that was Skull Island.
I don't want to ruin your bit.
Okay. Anyway, so just yeah, there's a couple movies coming back to Edmonton. I believe it's going upstairs here, actually, just here at West Edmonton Mall. That's where one of the IMAX screens is. So quite a few options. My number 5, however, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That was your number 1?
That was my number 5. We go from 5 to 1.
Sorry.
That's a really good movie.
It's really great, and the great thing about IMAX theaters is that it's all about like the sound, it's amplitude sound and things. So Scott Pilgrim, which sounds great, is going to be really fun to see on that. That's my number 5.
My number 5 is 2001: Space Odyssey. I just don't love it. No. I don't know.
The number 5 choice, like Mackenzie picked a better movie. But I'm surprised it's not a little higher. 2001, like, of course, you want to see that. No question, of course. Movie. Scott Pilgrim of the World, not the biggest fan, probably because I never actually saw it. So, I don't know.
So
but then you can't really comment
you're
on
probably
it.
right. 2001's a great choice, though. Thought it'd be a little higher.
Yeah. So my number 4 is The Departed. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. I can't say any other lines from The Departed because...
You can't say any other lines from The Departed.
Because it's The Departed. If you watch it, you know.
Why don't you go ahead and reenact that theater scene?
No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't need to do that. Obviously, Martin Scorsese wins Best Director for that one. Probably the movie he shouldn't have won Best Director for, but it was a weak year. So, nonetheless, The Departed, very fun movie. I will be trying to go and see that on April 18th at 7 p.m.
My number 4 is Matrix. Again, I've seen it. I just can't bring myself to like spend money on it, unfortunately.
I think that's fair, actually. Yeah.
Mackenzie's list is definitely better so far when I'm thinking about IMAX experiences. Departed is obviously all time.
I want to be able to see that on the big screen. This is another one that I want to be able to see on the big screen. My number 3 is Mad Max Fury Road, which is absolutely nails.
It's a good choice.
That's a good choice. It's a fantastic looking movie. So I can't say enough about George Miller's fantastic movie, Mad Max Fury Road, the sequel to Furiosa, which came out after. Anyways, that's my number 3.
All right. My number 3 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Nice. Wow.
That is one of my favorite movies like ever. I love Michael Cera and just it's like silly but good. I don't like that's the only way I can really put it, but I've seen it a ton and seeing that in IMAX would be sick.
Got any opinions on that?
No.
Yeah,
you
it might
already
be a
gave your
losing
opinions
Declan.
on
Why
Scott
don't you call
Pilgrim.
him a smart ass? I know you want to.
So my number 2, it's they're grouped together. It's The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2.
Bless you. Bless your soul.
Which are playing the weekend of my birthday in IMAX. So
That's
might
so
try to
good.
pull off a little double header here.
That's so good, man. That is so
Godfather Part 2, another movie that like I never got to experience on the big screen, and that's one that I want to experience. So there's that.
good. Wonderful choice.
My number 2 is Interstellar because I did not see that in theaters, and I think that would be really awesome.
There we go. Now we're talking. Like, listen, I'm not mad at Josh's movies at all, but when we're talking about IMAX experiences, like I'm rolling with Mackenzie. Josh is gonna have to. Mackenzie's gonna have to really fumble her number 1, and Josh is really gonna have to hit a grand slam to win this list.
I think they're like I agree that hers are better for the situation, but those are great movies that he's ripping off here.
Yeah, I mean, Godfather 1 and 2. You just put like 2 of the top 4 movies of all time together. Like I can't be mad at that
Because
you know
they're
what I mean?
grouped on the same page is why I combine them together.
Right. I gotcha.
And so my number 1 is actually Interstellar.
That's a bit of a grand slam, Josh.
I know, but like the music, like just how well put together the movie is. It's the second Matt Damon movie on this list. I love Interstellar so much. So
I've not seen it, so
you
I don't know.
need to get on it.
Yeah,
It's going to be in IMAX. Hold on, let me pull it up for you here. March 29th, April 2nd, and April 19th and 26th.
There you go.
So a lot of days to go and see this because it's one of the best movies of the century. One of Christopher Nolan's best. I
Timothy
really hope.
Chalamet's best.
Oh yeah, or Casey Affleck.
All right, your number 1.
All right. My number 1 is The Departed. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. And to see that in theaters, I think would be really cool just because the way it's filmed is different than most of these movies. So, and I love Matt Damon and Leo's really good in it. And obviously Jack Nicholson. So
yeah, that's not a bad
that's my
cast.
number 1.
Best Matt Damon movie.
Ooh, great question.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah,
It's so good,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
second only to.
How do you like apples?
We Bought a Zoo. Anyone?
That was a movie.
That was
It's
something
actually
for
very
sure.
good. It's very good.
We had to do that one time in school, though. We were having to do these soundscape assignments, and my one classmate, she did the "Do You Like Apples" scene.
Yeah, that's great.
And she was like, "You sound exactly like Matt Damon." I was like, what? And so I had to deal with the Matt Damon voicing. Do you like apples? I got a number. How do you like them apples? Anyways,
Actually, really, really fast. I just recently watched the Jason Bourne movies.
They're great.
And they are fantastic.
And the song they
so
played,
good.
so good.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I ruined a pair of speakers playing the hell out of that.
that's a classic.
Yeah.
So the Panthers, they beat the Oilers last night. Did you know it was a shutout, Al?
Did nobody said Oppenheimer?
It's not coming on the IMAX. It's not part of the slate. The
No, but
Running
when
Man.
When I asked you your favorite Damon movie, I thought somebody might say.
Well,
I haven't seen
not
Oppenheimer.
really a Damon movie.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows how Oppenheimer turns out. I guess maybe that would be it.
They drop a bomb.
They
actually dropped 2 of them.
Hey, we're in the news. So here's the deal. We got to get back to sports, so we will. Declan, I always love it when you give us updates because I know you're following it, even though you're pretending you're not. What's the story, Morning Glory, on the games that are on now or recently completed at the March Madness?
Oh man, well, Akron just fell by like 20 to Texas Tech, and I was really, really high on Akron. They were 29-5 MAC champion. That was that same conference Miami of Ohio plays in. Texas Tech was super beat up, no JT Top, and I think they're missing a couple of their starters. Like Josh made the point, a lot of money was coming in on Akron in that one. Texas Tech shows there are, in fact, levels to this when you're kind of a perennial top 15 team all year, the way Texas Tech was. Even without your best player, sometimes these mid-majors just can't compete, so that was too bad. And then Kentucky, that game that went to overtime that you heard us react to, Kentucky pulled away, won that one in overtime. Right now, really quickly, Halftime, Wright State is up 43-38 on Virginia. Wright State, the 14 seed, Virginia, the 3 seed. That's something to keep an eye on. And Arizona, they're dusting Long Island University 57-29 right now.
And LIU can't even afford a good color.
It's not the best, I know, but the baby blues, they're okay. But
it makes their logo look fadey, and
yeah, it does. And also, it's like you have to be UCLA to have a baby blue, pretty much.
That's a good point. Actually, yeah. UCLA, man. Interesting times.
Play today, no Donovan Dent. It'll be interesting.
Now, coming up in hour number 2, Steve Lansky will join us. We can talk about March Madness and about the Edmonton Oilers. And we have a minute here, so I'm just going to read some of your texts, if I may. Unpopular take, but Instateller sucked. Not Instateller, but Interteller sucked. To be fair to it, though, I don't like any space movie aside from Armageddon. Oh, I love space movies. Apollo 13, 2001. I don't think I've seen a space movie that I wouldn't watch again. They're fantastic. What? No Rio Bravo? I know. These kids today. Are we not counting Saving Private Ryan? There's only one IMAX movie, guys. It's Fantasia. You got to be to enjoy it, though. Northside Adam may or may not have been at one time. Matt Damon's best movie was Team America, World Police. I did not see that. I don't think it is, just based on the title. Inception, loves this show. No, you don't. Propane Tim, you hate this show. You text every day and say, garbage. One time you said, why don't you fix your stutter? So come on, man. Come on. You can't text me and say, love this show, but then he follows it up. Al says something incoherent. Josh says, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's something that could be said on the daily. You're right. And that's why I'm here, Propane Pip. But don't worry. One day I won't be. Shooter, best ending ever. I've not seen it. Ninja Turtles 2, The Martian, Dune, Part 1 and 2. HWD, I try to listen to you guys, but you all suck consistently. Not going to waste my time anymore, HWD. I am disappointed. But I want to thank you. Thank you for tuning in. The little time that you did, it means a lot to us, and you did give us a try, and I appreciate it.
Feel free, go ahead and tell us who sucks the least, though. We'd be interested to know.
Maybe the listeners should do a top 4, who sucks the least.
HWD's been hard on us. He hadn't texted in since January 23rd, where he said, painful to listen to.
Yeah.
Bring on Krueger.
I admit,
yikes,
I absolutely admit that this show, number one, isn't for everybody. And number two, who knows how long we'll be around. That said, I think that there is value here. And I think it's entertaining. And I don't apologize for it. What else do we have here? The Dark Knight is made for IMAX. When Connor goes to Toronto in 2 years, no more complaining about no cup and nurse RNH, who still will be here, from Alfred. Well, there's no doubt that the timeline is, short and there's more intensity. Doesn't mean there's going to be better decisions made by management and the coaching staff. But here's one for you. If McDavid requested a trade this summer, I think the owners would probably accommodate him. I don't think he will, but these are important moves, and I think it is going to be a reckoning here this summer for the coaching staff. I'm not saying that Chris Knobloch will be let go, because they just signed him, and I think that he took them to 2 Stanley Cup Finals. They might try to recreate that. And I mean, I know Gullitson's not coming back, but I do think that this organization is going to bring back the head coach, but they're going to hire the next head coach who will be on their staff next year. All right, 12:56 on the way, Steve Lansky. More of your comments, good and bad. I'll try to find 1 or 2 that love the show. I'm sure there's in there somewhere. It's all straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan.
Brought to you by our friends at Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 115-77 149th Street. Open 6 days a week, Saturday hours from 10 to 2. And you can also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. NHL action, just 5 games on the schedule. 2 games getting the action going at 5 o'clock. Carolina and Toronto, New Jersey and Washington, Colorado and Chicago at 6:30. Florida down the highway in Calgary at 7. In the late game, we'll see Anaheim and Utah at 8. NBA action gets going at 5:30 with a pair of games. The Knicks and the Nets out in Brooklyn, and the Golden State Warriors and Detroit Pistons, who will be without Cade Cunningham due to the collapsed lung. Late game, we'll see the Toronto Raptors in Denver taking on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. College basketball finals from the tournament earlier today was Texas Tech over Akron, 91-71, and Kentucky over Santa Clara, 89-84 in overtime. Currently, 2 games in action. Wright State, the 14 seed, leading Virginia 43-38 at halftime. Arizona killing Long Island 61-34 in the 16 verse 1. In about 7 minutes time, we will get Tennessee State, Iowa State, and in about 15, we'll get Hofstra and Alabama. WHL action, we'll see the Edmonton Oil Kings in Lethbridge to take on the Hurricanes. 7 p.m. puck drop for that one. And in the AJ, we have 4 games: Fort Mac and Whitecourt, Camrose and Drumheller, Calgary and Canmore, and Lloydminster and Grand Prairie. Finally, in the BCHL, the Sherwood Park Crusaders in action, taking on Trail Smoke at 7. And we also have the Spruce Grove Saints taking on the Salmon Arm Silverbacks, another 7 p.m. puck drop. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Cleared off by Johnston. Martin leaves it for Johnson. A mile out. The 7th. Against Iguodala. Victor checks the clock. Dribbles. Bangs. And saves the space. No crazy fouls here. Make yourself take the desperation shot without fouling. Booker and midcourt to the game, and no! It's a fiesta once again! Again, the Mammoths just joining us. We're 8 minutes in. Utah has 2 shots on goal, and both have beaten Aiden Hill. Here's a 3rd shot. Goal. Jeff McBain off a gorgeous feed. 3 shots for Utah and 3 goals. And Aiden Hill looks towards the bench. High Point's got the rebound on the outlet to Johnston. And it's first 2-pointer of the year. Gives High Point the lead. Timeout. High Point's got the rebound on the cleared off by Johnston. Martin leaves it for Johnson. A mile out. A Zerby 3. A logo 3 from the NCAA logo.
Alberta Ottawa Energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Millions and millions of Canadians do not have a doctor. We have a crisis. Canada's medical clinic is opening clinics across Canada to allow everyone to have a doctor to call their own. Early detection saves lives. If you are hearing this ad, then we've got some good news. Canada's medical clinic Windermere is now open. Call now and book an appointment with your new doctor. Canada'sMedicalClinic.com.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. A bunch of damn hippies with guitars. I like it. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick Truck Month, featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. We are now joined by our friend Steve Lansky. Mr. Lansky, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Are you now? The last 2 weeks we were unable to talk to you. We had it was a trade deadline, I believe, and then the phone was cutting in and out because you were on your way to Bonneville, Canada. But we've got you today, and we're delighted to join you and just check in and see how you're doing.
Good to be here. Yes, we should have a good, stable connection today, and you can't always say that with me, that there'll be a stable connection.
Right. Well, the word stable and Steve Lansky go together so well that
it's one of these. Yeah.
Just so happy. So let's talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers. They are wildly inconsistent, and Florida comes in and plays them with that exhausting, suppressive forecheck, and the Oilers don't have an answer. And it doesn't seem to matter who's in goal or almost, the top line had a good night. Everybody else did not. Is this just a matter of the Edmonton Oilers simply not being able to play against a hard forechecking team?
I don't have an answer. You just use the phrase, it doesn't seem to matter. That's the vibe I get is, and I don't know if it's going to the Stanley Cup final twice. I don't know, but it just appears to me like they're the kid in class who doesn't care if they got 85 on the test or 51 on the test. They just don't care. That sounds so absurdly simplistic, but I do think there has to be a level of give a S asterisk asterisk T. There has to be a level of that when you play. And there are athletes in every sport who don't have that. And that's what it looks to me like the Oilers right now. It's like, we don't care. We win, we lose. We just want to be there when it starts in April. That's the vibe I get anyway.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because last hour I talked about Greg McTavish's exit interview, and Mac T was like, they are not listening like they did when I started, and he said, the veteran, everybody listened for a while, and then the veterans started to tune out a little, and now I don't even know whether I have the kids with me. And now he'd been a decade, and he was an expert communicator. But it does sort of feel like there's I'll use the word indifference, and I'm not even saying they're not playing hard, but they're not playing smart. And it's been 3 years now, Steve, for the Oilers against the Florida forecheck. Surely to goodness they're making some progress, but I didn't see it last night.
No, and you use the word indifference, and yeah, that's it. Like, so how do you walk into a room and say, today you shall not be indifferent? I don't know what that solution is. I don't know how you do that. I can tell you what I would do. I would pick people who don't tend to be indifferent. Mark Messier was a lot of things. He sure as hell wasn't indifferent. Wayne Gretzky was a lot of things, not indifferent. Grant Fuhr was indifferent, but to his benefit because he was in goal. They had so many players, great team, Brian Trottier, not indifferent. Mike Bossy, not indifferent. Jean Beliveau, probably not too indifferent. People say he was Mr. Class. He took more major penalties than anybody who's Mr. Class I've ever seen. Gordie Howe, not indifferent. So how do you just, today we will not be indifferent? I don't know how you do it. I don't think there's a way, except like you said, you bring in this new voice and then everybody's all jangly and, we got a new voice. And then after a while, it's like, yeah, no, we're fine with this. We'll do whatever we want. And maybe we don't do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's true. I think that without exception, I think if we were to line 100 people up in a room and say, how many of you think the Oilers are going back to the Stanley Cup final? I don't think you'd find many. This team does not look like they're heading for greatness or an all-time Oilers team. And the last 2 years they made it deep into the Stanley Cup final. I like some of the young players. I like Savoy a lot, and I think they have some things they've done that they can build on. But the bottom line here is that Connor McDavid's contract is shorter, time is shorter, and 30 is approaching for both he and Leon Draisaitl. I said earlier, I don't think they just signed the coach last fall to a contract that kicks in this fall. I don't see Knobloch being replaced, but I can see most of his staff going.
Good point. I can see that too. I think that when I want to word this carefully, when you talk about indifference, I think really you're talking about leadership, and you can put whatever finger and point it wherever you want. But I think it's really hard to be indifferent when your leaders aren't indifferent. And like I said, I don't want to trade to, but if something becomes pervasive, it becomes pervasive, and nothing Chris Knobloch is going to do is going to change that. Sitting and screaming in a room isn't leadership. That's not leadership. Their leadership is something different, and I wonder about what's there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting offseason for sure. Are you catching any of the March Madness? The first 2 days are just an absolute blur.
March Madness to me is like the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like the first round is by far the best. There's games all the time. It's crazy crap that's happening. One team's upsetting this team. Whoever figured out that this should be the design for this is genius. And I think I mentioned it to you before. TSN has 5 channels, TSN 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 control rooms. 1 and 4 come out of the same room. And when March Madness is on, every channel, when I was working there, was airing a different game. And it was insane because the room was it's sectioned off with glass panels, but it's probably, 40 feet by 20 feet. And you could hear like yelling and roaring and cheering. Like you could make a show just out of TSN master control during March Madness. It's the best. It's the best 4 days, that first round ever.
Yeah, it really is, and it's the shock value is incredible. I do not follow college basketball like my cohorts here do, but I've watched a lot of college basketball in my time, and I know when 16's playing one and 16's ahead in the second half late. I know that's something to watch, right? And I think the theater of this of the upset and the staggered times, which by the way, I would like the NHL to adopt in the playoffs. Do you agree?
Oh, of course. But you said shock value. Of course it should be adopted. Shock value. So a 4-game upset in the first round, 8 beats 1 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Well, that takes 6 days. This takes 6 minutes for this to just go whoop and turn the other way. That's why it's so great, right? 1 minute you're watching one thing and it's like, what the hell am I watching now? What even is going on? And there's this giant groundswell and people jumping around and cheer squads and all kinds. It's fantastic. It might be the best short-term thing in sports.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, we're all doing the same thing in our living rooms or wherever we are. At some point in time, someone is going to say out loud, where is Wright State? And how big is it?
Do you know how many of those I've looked up? So many I've looked up, and I'm like, how the hell are they even in this tournament? What even is going on here? Why would anyone go to this school? Why would I go and live there in West Virginia, whatever it is? Yeah.
Who's famous from that school that I know? So I want to do a slice of life here thing with you because you will appreciate this because you are about my age. So I love spring. My favorite season in Alberta is the fall, but I love spring. It's always such a long winter. And spring arrives, and I'm so happy for it. And then on the first day of spring, we have puddles that are the size of like lakes right now. It's raining in Edmonton. Everything, all the snow is obviously melting, and it's rolling down the sidewalk. I had 2 garbage bins out today. They were rolling down the sidewalk because of the rain and the wind. It's a mess out there, but I'm happy for it. How is it where you are? I'm assuming it's sunny.
Yeah. So Calgary's been 17 degrees for the last 4 days. There is no snow. We hardly got any snow this winter anyway. Really weird. There is no snow. It's beautiful sunshine. I went to a minor hockey game this morning. So it's been spring for 4.5 hours. Not that I've checked, but I may have checked. To me, this is the best. This is my favorite time of year because summer's coming. And it's better than summer because in summer, I know winter's coming. In spring, all I know is that summer is coming. Every day that I wake up, the 90 days of spring, I wake up, I'm so happy that summer is coming. So this is literally my favorite time of year right now.
I love it. I love it. Even with the slushiness, and I got to wash the car, man. I'm telling you.
Look, if you're going to let the garbage cans roll down the street, you're not going to wash your car. Like, we both know that. Who are we kidding? We're not kidding. We're not kidding anybody.
I put them back. I put them out last night at about 9 o'clock. I put them back by, 10 o'clock today. They were 12 hours. That's it. But they did roll down the sidewalk. Were
you running down the sidewalk in the robes and in the robe and the slippers? Like, that's what I can see. And the cup of coffee, and the cup of coffee is going like this, and it's sloshing out, and you're trying to take the 2 bins, and you can't because you got the coffee. Then you drop the coffee. I can see it. It's in my head now, and God knows I want to get it out, but I can't.
It's like you have a camera and you're watching me. That's amazing. All right. Be good, sir. And I'm glad we had a chance to talk. I missed you the last couple of weeks.
So am I. I missed you too. Take care, my friend.
All right. There you go. Steve Lansky. A very good fellow. Not a good fella, but a good fellow. And we're delighted that he spent a little bit of time with us. Interesting insight on the Edmonton Oilers and where they are. And he obviously sees some changes here in the offseason, too. One thing I was going to ask him and didn't get to is what role he thinks Paul Coffey is going to have on this team, with this team next year, if any. Coffey has always been, I think, reluctant, I would say, coach for the Oilers. He's obviously done good work, but I don't think it's something that he, envisions doing for a long, long time. It doesn't feel like it's his jam, as the kids say. But maybe a management position, and maybe the coach or the owner is willing to go ahead with that this summer. I do think there's going to be some moves here in the offseason. This was not acceptable. I have so many friends who are season ticket holders, and all of them are talking about the prices and not feeling like the product is worth the price. And as you know, in the last couple of years when the Oilers going to the final, you rarely heard that. So blew them off the rose a little bit. Now, look, the Edmonton Oilers occupy a very special place in this city. So let's not go too far here with the rage and the criticism. That said, there will be work to do in the offseason, and I suspect it will impact some coaches and some folks in the front office. It's 1:15. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
For many families, the stress of divorce can throw your life out of balance. The loss of a relationship, ongoing conflict, mounting legal bills, and uncertainty about the future can feel overwhelming. Hi, I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. At Fairway, our team helps you restore balance through mediation, negotiation, and a unique step-by-step process. With 2 offices in Edmonton dedicated to serving your needs, our goal is simple: to help you navigate a path back to peace and clarity. Visit us today at Fairway Divorce.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Running a business is tough. Finding new customers shouldn't be. Stop chasing leads. Let them come to you with Stingray, offering you access to more digital, outdoor, and traditional advertising platforms, including radio, connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. So while you're closing the next deal, Stingray is working for you to deliver more leads, more customers, more sales. It's that easy. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and always be closing.
Some deals are too good to be real. Not at Tim's. For just $8.99, get a hearty loaded wrap with wedges and Coke. A real meal. And for $8.99, a real deal. Try it at Tim's. Plus tax. At participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time. Terms apply.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$14.40, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Is that a boy band? Is that like one of those 4 guys singing?
No, that was just Ed Sheeran, and you cut him off early.
No, I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Interesting.
Interesting writer, though. I love that. My mama don't like you, and she likes everyone.
Yeah, great. He's super talented.
I don't like that one about the wimpy little song about I got the number in the back of my black jeans thing, whatever the hell that one's called. Go man up and ask the girl out, for crying out loud.
Man up, bro. The worst she can say is no.
Well, also, you only pass through life in a moment once. Just grab opportunity.
Again, not to turn like today's show into the life advice segment, because I already had that little spiel earlier, but there are so many people who don't do things out of fear of embarrassment, and that's crazy. Just do what you like, be happy with what you do, take the shot.
But what if she says you, Declan?
Well, I wouldn't get that personally. I don't know. That's more a you kind of worry, but
yeah. Well, listen.
I'm just saying, no is not the worst that she can say. She could say you, or hold on, let me just call 911 or whatever,
Or there's always the, pulling something out of the person, spraying you with it. There's other options.
How are you approaching these women if she's saying you, calling 911, or hitting you with her purse?
Yeah, meeting her at Canadian Tire.
What are you doing,
while you're buying mace and bear traps?
No, I'm not. That's not. I'm just saying. There's what I say to girls
what kind of rope
is,
do you like best?
when I'm at a certain level of drunk enough, I just start saying, "So you like jazz?" And that actually worked a couple times. Proud to say that worked quite a few times, but I have to be a certain level of hammered to just start pulling that one out.
I I want all of this on film.
Mackenzie's face is priceless. Unfortunately, we have no camera over here to show it. She's just shaking her head in disappointment.
Stauffer as GM will sort things out from VR, Greg. There was something about that recently. I can't remember where it was from or what it was from. One thing I'll say is Bob knows his stuff, and he is a hard-working guy in the hockey industry.
That was a article in the Edmonton Journal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. LT, Oilers coach should go talk to Glenn Sather in summer, learn how to push buttons and get tougher team like Glenn had tough teams. Thanks from Gordon. There's a Marc Messier book. I can't remember the name of it, where Messier talks about, there was like in 81 or 82, somewhere in there, there was a moment where Sather, who wanted to get more out of his team, was dressing down, I don't know which player, and Messier stood up to him, and it was fierce. And as years went by, that moment was pointed to by several players as being an important moment for the hockey club. And so, sometimes you when you're the manager or whatever, you push and you push and you push, but when you see the push back, it's important not to overreact. And in the case of Sather, who was like, I would put Sam Pollock ahead of Sather just because Pollock, he had so much success, but Sather did too. Len Sather was an amazing judge of talent, and that includes Barry Fraser, who drafted all those guys. I'm getting a lot of who's Ed Sheeran. I only got one, but I'm reading it as a lot, and I am delighted. LT, I'm not ready to write the Oilers off yet, but if they don't have cup success in the next couple of years, can we all agree it's because of terrible management decisions for a decade? Yes, Joe Daddy, we can. Although there have been some great signings and trades, Hyman, Ekholm, Savoy, Podkolzin, those seem to be outweighed by downright horrible contracts and trades. Here's the thing. I don't know. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know, but I don't know how to amalgamate them. And here's an example. 2015, the Oilers draft Connor McDavid. An hour later, they trade 2 picks for Griffin Reinhart. Now, that's a mistake, and people did know it in real time. But did that come about? Did the trades in 2015 of all those great talents, it was the best draft ever, did that all come about because the owner was putting pressure on the general manager to fill the new arena and saying, we've got to get better right now? I don't have your answer. I do think that is a question worth asking. And maybe one day Daryl Cates will write his autobiography and we'll know, or Peter Chiarelli will, but hockey guys never do because they're always hoping for the next job. But I'm sincere in this. I believe that there was enormous pressure on Chiarelli. And I did recommend him. I did say to all the Oiler fans, I said, he's going to be a great GM. He brought a Stanley Cup to Boston, which he did do. And I said he would bleed a little bit in terms of the trades, but he bled a lot and they didn't win. And I in my heart of hearts, I do believe there was enormous pressure, and that's why so much was done in a very short space of time. And the picks they traded at 2015 at that draft, if they had kept them, I'm sincere in this, I think they would have won at least a couple of Stanley Cups by now. Did you see Grady? This is from DD from Border City, which is Lloydminster, by the way, or maybe Flin Flon, but it's Lloydminster. Did you see Brady Tkachuk yesterday? That's what we need. Some heart out there. I hate Brady Tkachuk, but love the way he plays. I did not see it, but I think that the Oilers are a physical team, but they don't go outrageous, and I think the coach prefers that. I don't think he likes to kill penalties that aren't necessary. And frankly, I'm with him. I think you can intimidate with hard hits, and I don't know what Tkachuk did, so I can't speak to that. But I also think Florida just gets breaks from officials. There was a cross-check late on an Oilers center. I don't recall which one. It could have been a penalty easily. It was the game was done. Nobody was going to win. But they get a lot of leeway. There's a lot of leash and Vegas had it. Hell, the Oilers had it in the 80s. That's the truth.
The high stick on Hyman too.
Yes.
That got let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, I'm pretty sure Brady Tkachuk fought last night, like right off.
Oh, really? Well,
first drop of start of the game. Yeah.
I'm generally not in favor of the high skill guys fighting. It's like Josh going out to the bars at night and fighting. He's got to be here. Got to be here the next day. Are you a fighter, Josh?
I've only been in one fight in my entire life that was physical.
Yeah.
1-0, baby. You're lucky I don't fight dudes.
You should see the other guy.
I'm just kidding. That was a joke for anyone listening. That was just a joke.
I moved from the Lower Mainland of BC to Saskatchewan in 1970, winter of 70. And they're just like farm kids are just tougher, man. And I got into a lot of fights and I don't know that I won any of them. They were the tough kids. And they played hard too. The broom ball games out there on the prairies are pretty tough. You ever play broom ball? No. This team is missing a Ryan Smith type. Someone willing to get his teeth knocked out and get back into the fight, or a Messier. Skill is great, but only to a point. You could say the most recent Canadian team was the most skilled ever. Would they have beaten the 2014 Sochi team? I doubt it. From Talladega. Well, here's what I always say. I love truculence or rugged players or whatever word you want to use, but they have to be able to play, and they're hard to find. They truly are. And so, like, Leon Draisaitl is a filthy player, and I mean that in a good way. He does things with the stick that hurt people. He does. But Leon can play. So people don't go, they need an intimidator out there, and then they pass over mentioning Leon Draisaitl. But I think if you asked 15 NHL players if Leon Draisaitl has hurt them or if they're intimidated somewhat by him, they are, because I'm not saying he's Messier, but he does play at the edge at times, and he does have a temper. And this Oilers team is way too predictable in all ways. I agree with that. And I would love for them to be a little physically unpredictable, but I don't think the coach likes that. That's the honest truth. I don't think he's high on that. Devtron says, I don't get this team. Seems so disinterested in improving, building off wins, and playing with urgency. We need to be happy with a couple of decent games, then take a few off. Weak. Well, Devtron, Gregor talks about this all the time, and credit to him, he's been on it all year. They haven't won 3 in a row. They get a chance to get to 3 in a row. I'm sure he'll talk about it today, coming up at 2:00. But it is a thing. When Knobloch came in here, they ripped off some insane winning streaks where they were getting points for like 15 games or whatever. I don't remember the exact amount, but they did that in both seasons. And this year, it has been none of that. It's they're playing Frogger out there.
They did win 3 in a row once.
Did they?
Yeah.
I bet
they're 1-9.
No, but there were a couple of overtime wins in there, right?
They're 1-9-2 with the opportunity to win 3 in a row this season.
Yeah. Not great. Brandon from Victoria, been listening every day at work since the day Sports 1440 went on the air. No matter how much my coworkers hate it, I work in a glass workshop. You guys and Gregor are my work day. My folks are in Edmonton this week. I may just have to send them by the station for a hat or some swag for the shop to further annoy my coworkers. Do we have any, like stuff we can throw people's way when they come by? I know we had the hats for a while.
Well, I think the hats need to be sold. I don't think those can just be given away.
20 schmeckles per
then
hat.
Don't tell anybody what I've been doing. I'm teasing.
But we do still have the hats. We might have some lanyards around. I don't know. That's more of a Marty question. I just saw the Lord Commander walking around. So.
Oh, Marty gives those hats out like crazy. I mean, I've seen him give it to people that didn't want them.
Yeah. And like our sales guys have a bunch of 1440 swag when they go out to get new clients and stuff. So.
And by the way, If you want to advertise on Sports 1440, it's really easy. Just email Gregor
at sports1440.ca. On the topic of emails, if you guys have content ideas, because we filmed something on Wednesday that's going to be coming out next week when I'm done the arduous task of editing it, you can email me, Josh at sports1440.ca. We did an NHL redraft. So if you want to see anything else from the people that are more behind the scenes here, email me.
And if you have a need for somebody to read a book into a cassette player, and you pay them, I would do that for you. Just get a hold of me. Anybody else want to apply for jobs while we're doing this?
I would.
Okay.
I'd like to make some money at some point because I am working for free currently.
Yes, and you would like to work in radio, right? Like that's your job. You'd like to do that, yeah.
Anything really.
Right.
I'm kind of open.
I think I've told you before that I think you would have a very good production voice, commercial.
Yes, you have said that. Yeah.
And if you ever work at a radio station, no matter what you do for a long period of time, the producer will come and ask you and say, "Will you please read this commercial?" Because expressive voices are always in style. Hacksaw says, Al, I'm curious. Can you explain what it is that Knobloch brings that shouldn't see him replaced? So you want him fired. The first thing is that you have extended him. So I don't remember how long the contract is, but it hasn't started yet. So unless the owner says get rid of him, then I don't think that's going to happen. And then the other thing is that they went to the Stanley Cup 2 times. They said, okay, you can have your coaching staff. And from October to whenever Paul Coffey arrived, not a long time, did he have the leeway to go ahead and make that team work. It isn't a long time. So I'm not saying they have to reset or anything like that with Chris Knobloch. Something's clearly wrong, but I'm not convinced that Knobloch is. I know he's the guy who talks after the games, and I know he doesn't give you the rage and the anger that you want from the coach. I understand that, but I don't think that alone is a reason to replace him. And the answer to the question is I don't know, because if he's in talking to the analytics department, if he pays attention to those things, and there is some evidence that he does, then I think that it's working on a process and finding it, because analytics is supposed to identify what the problem is, and then with all the numbers, and then credibly argue to the coach and the manager that this is the way to go. That's what your analytics department does. They uncover things for the coach, and the coach also sends questions and queries about what he wants to know. It should be a two-way street. So if he's part of that and actively involved in it, then I think it's okay. This has been a tough year. It doesn't mean next year has to be the same. All right? So 1:35. Connor's coming in and sitting down. Last time he did that, we found out Leon was out for several weeks. He doesn't have that now. Okay, we'll take a break. It'll be our final one. We're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers and what happens next for this team that not quite a bubble team for the playoffs, but they're getting there. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
It's Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
We're from Mr. 305.
Breaking down the fine art of sports,
One rep at a time.
The Lowdown
with Lowetide.
Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's truck month. Check them out. WolfGMCBuick.com. Declan, do we have an update in the NCAA basketball tournament?
Boy, do we ever. Hofstra currently lead the 13, currently leading Alabama, the number 4 seed, 20-16. Arizona just rounded out their game against Long Island University, one that won 92-58. And Virginia and Wright State coming down to the wire. About 8 minutes left in this one. Virginia, the 3 seed, Wright State, the 14 seed, 67-63 currently for Virginia.
There you go. So, you don't rewatch these games, do you?
No.
Because you can get so many highlights.
Yeah, well, and there's also too many. Like, I'm not going to rewatch, because the thing is, I'm like watching as much as I can anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go rewatch one when like there's immediately one following.
One thing I do find, and I didn't know this about you, but you're wildly entertaining when you're watching it, because you are like actually, like, I think you might run over somebody walking and not realize it because you're so into the game.
Yeah, I mean, between that and the texting and driving, it's not great when I'm behind the wheel, you know?
I feel like that is true, you know?
No, I try not. But no, seriously, I mean, yeah, like I get obviously really into it, probably to the point of like a fault where it's almost like borderline autistic tendencies, where it's like we just asked him 3 questions in a row. Why hasn't he responded yet? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I get that. And the brain does things.
People like what they like, man.
Sure. What are the chances? This is Dave Q. What are the chances Peter DeBoer is on the staff next season? I don't know that it would be DeBoer, but I think somebody like that. You know, this is a window of opportunity. They have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl in their prime, Evan Bouchard in his prime. They need to build around them. They've got, you know, a good group. They're an aging group. I totally think that Stan Bowman did the right thing, bringing in younger players like Savoy instead of getting another Arvidsson and whomever. and they're going to have to do more of that. And they've had success. I mean, Podkolzin and Savoy are NHL players who can play on skill lines. And, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, those cats are getting older. And, I mean, Hyman is turning back time like he's Cher this year, but that doesn't mean he will next year. And Nuge is also playing well, but those cliffs are coming, and erosion does occur for NHL players, even the really good ones, after they turn 30.
On Peter DeBoer as well, like I understand there's a tendency, wow, what a finish. I understand there's a tendency once you're let go as a head coach, you kind of have to work your way back up and prove yourself. But like, I don't think Peter DeBoer would settle for less than a head coaching job. Like, I don't think he's going to go to a team that beat him twice in the Western Conference Finals and be on a staff, especially when he feels like he's a guy who can be a head coach still.
How long has he been out of work?
A year now-ish, close to a year, right? Okay. Close to a year.
Then you could be right. I mean, but if they go through the summer hiring season and he's not gotten a job, then maybe he does become an option. Dennis says, do the Oilers have a fan media problem? In the last 2 years, 2 goalies have started, 2 head coaches have been in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, that's not true. It's only been one.
No, I understand, but I'm reading it now. So we have already.
So I wasn't correcting you. I was correcting Dennis. I'm sorry.
Well, let me just finish here. We have already run one out of town and are working on the other. Well, as Declan said, the 2 Stanley Cup runs were both with Chris Knobloch. And I have said, and I think most people believe, that they're disgruntled about this year. But until recently, and last night, he's taken heat because of the media avail last night. That's what people didn't like the answers, right? But I mean, as far as running people out of town, this is old news. I mean, Tom Pody had a hard time because he wasn't a Jason Smith type defenseman. Paul Coffey got into a contract hassle with Peter Pocklington, and it got ugly. I mean, ugly. It was really bad. And the owner said some things that he had to backtrack on. So, owners, fans, others, sometimes managers and coaches in this town have said a lot of things about a lot of things. But I mean, these are professionals that are being paid well. I think everybody that I've seen can handle the heat. Jack Campbell was an unfortunate situation, and that occurs. It does. But it's fairly rare to have that happen. And I don't think Stuart Skinner is suffering from this, the trade that happened. I do think there's something up with the Oilers. That's my honest opinion. I know they're younger. I know they don't have as many veterans as they do this year or did last year, but there's something. You can't come out and play a game like that where you are. I think they put in the effort. Honestly, I do. I know. I suspect Gregor will disagree with that, but I think they played hard. They just didn't play smart. Like a 2-man forecheck should not be as difficult to overcome. This is 3 years now where they simply can't handle it. There's something wrong there. Either I just refuse to believe that the players can't understand concepts. That's just not. I'm not going to go there. Maybe they are, they've tried stuff and maybe they've tried too many things and there's a little bit of uncertainty or confusion, but that shouldn't last long. And this has been, 3 years now. So it's either the players being stubborn or possibly the defensive coach and the rest of the group not agreeing about how far the forwards should come down. There's something wrong. I'm not smart enough to tell you. But last night is an example, and the fans are onto it. Like, you can say whatever you want, but fans watched the game, and they had expectations. And one of the expectations was that the Oilers would win. Another would be that they were going to take a little bit of, flesh from a team that really has owned them. And by own them, I mean they won 2 hard-fought Stanley Cup finals. They won both of them. It's been a 1-1. If the Oilers had won Stanley and then lost one, it'd be a different story. But this era, this Connor McDavid era, right now has been defined by the Florida Panthers. And that can't sit well with anybody on the team. And yet we got a game last night where they didn't look prepared and they didn't perform at a level that you'd want them to. So that's pretty dire if you're the coach and the manager. And I can't imagine Daryl Cates is a guy who goes, I'm not going to call. I'm not going to say anything. I think he isn't that. I think he's a guy who lets people know what he's thinking. And so it's probably not a good day in Oilerland today. Now, how do you improve it? And that has to come from the coach. And the ideas that have to come from the coach either aren't coming or they're not working. And I honestly don't know which one is worse. Al, if Knobloch is actually a real good coach, when does he start doing some coaching and not just fill out the lineup sheet and change lines? From Hacksaw. Well, look, on a day like today, I know everybody's angry and upset, and everybody's talking about the now, and I get that. But he was the coach for 2 trips to the Stanley Cup final, and that has value. And Gulletson was here. I get that. Coffey was here. I get that. I understand all of that. But I still think from the point of view of the Edmonton Oilers organization, they have signed him to a contract that kicks in this fall. My guess is they don't. This fan base is brutal on skilled defensemen. They love goalies as a rule and love their tough guys. The goalie thing is changing quickly and becoming more Canuck-like. I don't know. I mean, I think Oiler fans have always been tough on the goaltenders, going back to Grant Fuhr and, certainly Tommy Salo. They love Joseph, sure. Mike Smith had his fans. I don't think Stuart Skinner I don't think he had the fan base like he maybe should have after his rookie year. And then his play did erode. There's no doubt after his rookie season, which was, splendid. As far as defensemen are concerned, the Oiler fans are not really big fans of finesse types. They want the guys who are going to be smash mouth. Always the case, Kevin Lowe was wildly popular in this town as a player. Lee Fogelin, oh my God. I'll tell you what, you find a guy who's, let's say he was 20 in 1984, which would put him at 64, which would put him at 62 years old? Is that right? So you find a guy who's 60 to 65 years old, and you say, hey, that Lee Fogelin, and then prepare for about an hour's worth of verbal, because that's what he's going to give you about Lee Fogelin. He was cherished in this town. I remember being upset the day he got traded. But say there was that guy. He always traded guys a year too soon because he didn't want to trade him a year too late. Edmonton is a goalie pressure cooker. It's the same old story. Knobloch is a good coach, but he's getting outcoached by witty veterans. Hence the last 2 years exit of the final round, and the team doesn't want to show heart. Where's our heart? Well, in the final last year and the year before, they were moving the puck well. They were doing the outlets, and there was a play early in the series. It was a game in Sunrise where Troy Steger got crumpled. He was trying to make a pass. He couldn't make a pass, and he got leveled. And they went away from it after that. They stopped doing what they had been doing successfully in previous series. And I still think, I just think that, have you ever, I don't think anybody here, because I don't think they're old enough, but have you ever played a record like on a turntable and you put it on and then it doesn't skip, it just repeats, right? Have you ever had that? I think the Florida Panthers finals are still running around in Chris Knobloch's head. And I think he is coaching that way. No matter who the opponent is, I think he's still coaching against the Florida Panthers. And that is, and I think he's a smart coach, but sometimes I think you get hung up on things and you're still trying to win the game that you lost 2 years ago. I think there might be some truth to that. Cujo, Moog, and Ranford were 3 most beloved players who could do no wrong. They still sing songs about Rolison too. Well, Moog was wildly popular. There are people that I know who are still convinced that the Oilers traded the wrong guy, keeping Fuhr and trading Moog. But I would say that Skinner was never as popular as maybe he should have been based on his rookie season. I think part of that is that there's an urgency among the fan base to win a Stanley Cup in the McDavid era. There's a fear that he's going to leave and then have great success. And I get it. I understand that. But they during the Ken Holland era, they really did not spend that much on goaltending, folks. They did once with Jack Campbell. It was $5 million. It didn't work out. But Skinner was, he was basically paid very little for much of his time that he was the starting goaltender in Edmonton. 5 coaches in 10 years. Could it be the core group here? From Neighborhood Plumber. Well, what we're talking about is discipline and adjusting. And so, yes, I think that's a fair criticism. The Edmonton Oilers are a freewheeling bunch. And there's a play last night, I don't remember what goal it is, where they have all kinds of great chances. It's a threatening rush, and you're like, oh my God, they didn't score. And then it rails around and immediately goes back the other way for a goal by Florida. And the Oilers are victimized by that all the time because there's not the discipline to stay in your lane and to make sure that if it does come back around, there's at least 2 defensemen, and hopefully the high player who might be the center are also getting back in time. But it didn't happen. And in playoff hockey, that'll bite you in the ass every time. So I do think that you can be critical of the veterans on the team and the leadership of the team. But I think that the Edmonton Oilers are headed for an unusual offseason compared to the last couple. And my hope is that they see enough in these young players that they stay the course and sign more college and European kids like Szymanski, because they need value contracts. And then you can go, hunting for your goaltender, which I still think will happen this summer. All right. Enjoyed today very much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Jason Krueger is on the way next. Please enjoy your weekend.
The Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area if you're thinking about buying or selling a home. Call or text Sean directly, 780-265-0165. That's 780-265-0165. NHL action will get going at 5 o'clock with the Hurricanes and Leafs and Devils and Capitals. Late game will see the Anaheim Ducks in Utah taking on the Mammoth. NBA gets going at 5:30 today with 2 games, Knicks and Nets and Warriors and Pistons. The late game will see the Toronto Raptors in Denver to take on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. College basketball finals from earlier was Arizona over Long Island University, Texas Tech over Akron, and Kentucky over Santa Clara in overtime. Right now, coming down to the wire, Wright State and Virginia, currently an 8-point game for Virginia with just over a minute left. Iowa State up huge on Tennessee State, 46-20, and Hofstra, the 13 seed, leading 4th-seeded Alabama 30-21 with about 6 to go in the first. WHL action will see the Edmonton Oil Kings in Lethbridge to take on the Hurricanes at 7. 4 games in the AJ Fort Mac and Whitecourt, Camrose and Drumheller, Calgary and Canmore, and Lloyd and Grand Prairie. And in the BCHL, the Sherwood Park Crusaders will take on Trail Smoke at 7, while the Spruce Grove Saints will take on Salmon Arm at the same time. Up next, the Jason Krueger Show. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440